Hey guys, it's John here from Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters. We've got people piling in right now, so let's just give a few minutes. And just in the chat, put a 1 in if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything's looking good. And we'll just give a few more minutes here and just let everybody come in. Okay, we got some 1s coming into the chat. Good. So you can see me and hear me. That's awesome. Cool. So how's everybody doing today? We've got Rima monitoring the chat. So Rima's been with Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters for a while now, and she's my assistant. She's also one of our key strategists around our Facebook ads and a bunch of other outreach campaigns and things like that as well, and kind of jack of all trades, and she's monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions at all, pop them in there and she'll answer them best you can, and otherwise she'll get your email address from you and we'll follow up afterwards if there's anything very specific. Thanks all of you that sent in your websites to be looked at. So part of what we're going to be talking about today as we get started in a minute is maximizing your conversions and lead flow on your website. So it's a really, really important topic and near and dear to me. And as we go through it, I'll explain why. But yeah, so we did ask to take a look at some of your websites, and that's always a tough thing live here. Don't want to beat you up too much if there's some problems, but it's always good to improve your game. And I can show you some ideas and things that should be looked at on your website, and that's what we'll go through here today. So yeah, as we get going, let's let the rest of the people chime in or join into the webinar as we go. But I'm going to shift over to sharing my screen, and we'll get started. And you guys can get on with your day. So here, just give me a quick second. Okay, so now you just get to hear me. You can see my face in still form there, but that's about it for right now. If you can see my screen and you see the front page there, how to optimize your website, just put a 1 in chat again, and we'll go from there. Great. Cool. Got 1s coming in. Okay, so let's get rolling here. Obviously, we know the topic. It's all about websites. The importance. What we want to talk about is why this conversion conversation makes any sense at all. So we talk about here at Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters about the digital dominance method. It's 30 years in development, 17 years now as a consultant. I'll talk about that in a second. But what basically, there's a lot of elements. There's, you got pay-per-click, you've got local service ads, you got Facebook ads, you've got SEO and organic, you've got email marketing, you've got all of these things. You might have ads running on different platforms, Angie's List and things like that. You've got physical mailing ads, you've got digital ads, you got all this kind of stuff, and you're trying to fill your funnel. And those are all ways that you're generating leads. An interesting way to think about this is most of your leads will at one point or another end up on your website. So it's a lot of times it might be near the end of the funnel. They've looked around and now they're just going to your website for assurances that this is a real company and you can provide the services they're looking for and things like that. So there's a strong need for your website to be an anchor and convert properly. And that's what we're going to get into today and talk about. So before we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. Turn off your cell phones so you're not distracted. So we'll get through this quickly and you can hear everything we're talking about. Turn off Facebook. This is not the time to chat to anybody. If you're seriously about doubling or even tripling your leads that you can pull from your carpet cleaning website, then give me the next 60 to 90 minutes. Probably only going to go at 60 minutes or so. If we end up with a bunch of questions, it might go a little bit longer, but just kind of plan on about the next 60 minutes. We're going to dial in exactly what your website needs to have for conversion elements. And you're going to be able to check off which ones you have and which ones you should be looking at improving going forward. So who am I quickly? Boilerplate. So started my business career way back in 1990 while I was still in high school. So I've owned cleaning service franchise businesses, independent service businesses, e-com product lines, all of that kind of stuff. I've done service business consultancy and we owned and operate a digital marketing agency as well. So lots of things on the go. I've lectured for many associations, marketing workshops, things like that. Been the keynote speaker at 3-day elite retreats, including in the island of Samoa. I was flown into to speak for 3 days to a select group of carpet cleaners during that time. So done the marketing consulting and been a strategist, worked with different operations over the years, spoken at Chamber of Commerce events a lot and on the stage in Vegas and at other events and stuff like that as well. So I have bought, sold, systemized and sold made franchise for twice the price that we bought it for over a 5-year window while owning a bunch of other businesses. And I've sold my system driven 2-van only carpet cleaning business during the pandemic within the last year, and generated over $500,000 in the sale of that. So, and well worth it for the person who bought it as well, because of all of the systems and monetizations that are built into that. So basically, I help cleaning business owners reach their growth potential and dominate their market by implementing tested and proven systems. So that's just a little background of who I am. More importantly is what do we do here at Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters? What's it all about? And our parent company is Screaming Tree Media. We do digital marketing for a lot of clients. Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters is sort of the niche focus that we've really dived into, because that's a service business owner for how many years? Carpet cleaning businesses, duct cleaning, maid service, janitorial, on top of all those other things. So we've really kind of honed a whole division of our company into just helping that niche. So, but we help our clients become the top brand in their local marketplace so they can attract the best clients. They're able to charge the top rates for their service, and they can get booked out weeks in advance. And that's ultimately the goal here. So, but we do run into a problem. There's the problem that we're going to address today here is we all invest a ton of money in our marketing. So, in service businesses, it was the yellow pages. It seemed, back in the day, everybody was fighting for the bigger, the better yellow page. So it's the double trunk ads at thousands of dollars a month. I was at a point where I was paying about $60,000 a year in yellow page ads, but it was generating, again, $500,000 or more in total company revenue and sales. And that was well worth it because it was the place everybody went to find you. So we're in service businesses, home service businesses, and things like that. They need to market out into the marketplace. So it was yellow pages. It obviously transitioned. There's direct mail. There's now the internet. But we have this huge investment in marketing. And in the online world, sometimes it feels like there's not enough, and I'll change the spelling on that. But not enough leads and coming in from that traffic. So, so if you're good at looking at your Google Analytics and stuff like that, you can see the type of traffic coming into your website, but maybe you're not getting the leads, or it's a low ROI investment. So you're not actually getting the what you're hoping to get out of the lead source, and you're not really sure why. And that's kind of what we're going to address here today. Ultimately, the problem is you're going to have parked trucks and empty schedules. So, it's not lost on me that the biggest issue right now in 2021 is having technicians in the vans servicing your clients. And what we have found from talking to our clients as well is that if you don't have a consistent lead flow, if you're missing out on work in your marketplace that could fill that technician's truck up, that could, be a higher end client because you've dialed it in right. We'll talk about a bunch of those things here today. And that, then you may not be able to pay them top dollar, and they'll go to the competition or to another job. You may not be able to keep them busy enough that they are making enough money to support their family. When you can promise them a lot of work, and when you can poach them from other cleaners that are a little bit slower, for example, things like that, then it's not a labor issue anymore. It's a volume of work issue. So that's what we're going to talk about. So, and that's again, that's the fail. If you don't generate enough leads for the investments that you're making in your marketing, then your business just simply can't grow. So what you need to actually have, as we're talking about here, is a website that's built to convert. Because as I mentioned, it is sort of that last step in the funnel that people come into. So if your website is consistently converting visitors into callers and leads, then, and it's doing it in a very scientific and deliberate way, that then what you're going to get out of that is obviously a lot more oomph for your spend. So you've invested in this website. The website has a bunch of different functions. It's got some SEO functions to rank. It's got letting people know about your business and things like that. But ultimately, the ultimate goal of your website is when you get people to it, it needs to convert so that you can end up with those full schedules and you're getting momentum and you know that it's working for you. So the success looks like the phone's ringing, trucks are running, business is booming, that kind of thing. So again, as I mentioned, your website is that hub. It seems to be like it's farther down that awareness chain nowadays. Less people make it to your website right off the bat, but they do go to your website to confirm their decision to call you, to work with you, things like that. And what they see on that website becomes very, very important, because a lot of people aren't going to spend hours and hours reading your website. You'll get the odd person who does that, but a lot of people, it's sort of a gut instinct thing. They look at it, it gives them the right impression, it gives them the right feel, the right look, and they and then it confirms their decision, and they pick up the phone and call or message you, or enter into your funnel somehow. So why is conversion so important? Let's just run a little bit of math here quickly. Say you have 1,500 visitors a month coming to your website. We're seeing across the board that conversion rates, if you're tracking this very closely, how many people that land on your website and actually end up calling, messaging, any of those sort of tracking metrics that you have in place, sort of, an average in the industry is sort of between 5 and 15%. So if we just start at the bottom end of that and say 5%. That equals 75 phone calls. So your website generated 75 phone calls. You may not know that you got 1,500 visitors unless you're into your data a lot, but you got 75 phone calls that came through because people ended up on your website. Say you have a 30% conversion rate. So out of all the people that call, you're able to book 3 out of 10 in as customers. You just booked 22 jobs. Say your job average is $325. So that's a decent level in our industry. Some people are way down at like $125, $150. Other people are $500, $600. But that $325 average is right in there. You've just generated from those 75 calls, 22 bookings. You've generated $7,150, and there's a little extra zero on there. Sorry about that. So you've generated $7,100 from your website. And there's a bunch of numbers in here that you can look at as a business owner to improve, the results. Obviously, you could do more marketing, spend more money, and up the 1,500 visitors to a higher number. The conversion is the one we're going to be talking about today, but you could also have, train your CSRs better to answer the phones, book more jobs, all of that kind of stuff. You could have automations in place that follow up with people better. You could have your technicians trained better to upsell better on the job so that your average ticket is higher. And all of those things are going to multiply the effect of this. But for today's conversation, we're going to talk about the big one, which is conversions. If they don't even call you right off the bat, the rest of these numbers don't even matter. So in scenario number 2, let's say we just take that 5% to the 15% conversions that we're seeing, or say you're already getting 15% and we can get that up to 30% as an example. That's the kind of numbers to think in your head. But now you're going to get the same number of visitors. We haven't changed the number of people on the that who've shown up on your website, but we've now got 225 calls instead of 75. Still the same 30% conversion. We've got 67 bookings. Same transaction value. That exact same amount of traffic every month went from generating $7,000 to $21,000. Nothing changed but the conversion elements on your website. You didn't have to do anything extra other than service more jobs, and you've just tripled your revenue. So that's the most important point that we're trying to get to here. So can conversion optimization really have that much of an impact? Well, here's an example. So one of our clients, that was their website before. Some good elements on it, but it was very, very basic, very, very dated. Updated the website, did a whole bunch of changes to it, added some conversion elements that we're going to talk about here today, and really jazzed it up. And one of the things we do is track all of the leads and stuff coming into websites, into phones, like with phone tracking and form tracking and chat tracking and all of that kind of stuff. And across all of their variables, 351 leads coming in different forms, from, again, emails and text messages and phone calls and all of that, with an average cost per lead of under $10. So, and then all the different sources that they're coming in from, but anything organic, mobile, those kinds of things, a lot of them, again, end up back on the website. And that's the important point, is just by improving the website's conversion principles, the number of jobs, phone calls, jobs, leads, all of that kind of stuff grows. So that's just one of the examples. So you got to want to note down for yourself why getting your website built to convert is important to you. If that makes sense, if you've got, if you understand that sort of the better your website is as one of those pieces in your marketing pie and one of those key levers, there's that old phrase that, small hinges swing big doors. Well, this is one of those small hinges. It's seemingly sort of a small thing. A lot of people put up brochure websites and things like that, don't really think of conversion elements, but they can have such a large impact. So you're going to have to figure out your why for this here. Now, one thing I did do is I put together a workbook for you guys to download. So you can go to carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com/conversion workbook. I'm just going to pop over to that right now to make sure this works. But so if you can see that there, I did it as a Google Doc. That way you can just go up to this top corner here and go file. You have to be logged into your Google account first, but you can hit file and make a copy, and you can make it your own. And from there, you can make your own notes. There's a little checklist down here as well. There's a cool little graphic we're going to get to, but there's a little checklist that as you work through some of these elements, or the ones that are most important to you, you can check those off as well. So you've got this handy, but definitely, don't have that screen open. You want to kind of be back on the webinar screen. And we're just going to go through some of the most important conversion elements. So we should be back onto the presentation now. So just make a copy of that so it's yours, save it, and mark it all up as you need. And when we get off the call, you can kind of go through it in a little bit more detail. And with your web people or whoever you've got that helps you out with this kind of stuff, and we'll go from there. So 11 critical elements to enhance conversion. We're going to go through these, but I'm just going to rattle them off kind of quickly. But you want to speak to your target avatar. So if you've done any sort of marketing training or you've worked with a marketing company and stuff like that, they might start talking to you about your avatar. And basically what that is what is your ideal client? What's their demographic, their age, their sex, their household income? Who is the person that you actually feel and is your best client in your marketplace, that is the one that if that's all your clients were with those people, your business would be just peachy keen. It'd be everything you want out of it. That person is who you need to be talking to on your website. So, what are their fears and frustrations? Why should they choose you over the competition? Those are the types of questions going through their heads. Those are the things your website needs to answer. You want to be real. You want to use authentic images on your homepage and throughout the website. You do not want a website that is just a brochure that's using stock photos, the baby lying on the carpet, all of those kinds of things. You want no different than in yourself when you're booking or you're looking to get somebody to do some work for you. If you can put up that personal connection to the business and the business owner and how they feel in the community, that whole feeling is instant. You end up with a level of trust. Go back 15, 20 years ago when I used to consult on Yellow Pages, we would not change the size of the ad at all. We would actually tell our client, if it was a quarter page ad or in that size or bigger that they're already paying for, let's not touch it. Let's just leave it that size. Let's just change what's on the ad itself. And that was one of the things that we used to provide. And one of the first things we'd always do is put the owner's photo in the Yellow Page ad and a personal guarantee from the owner to the consumer. And that was more important than the logo, the name. The phone number would obviously be down in the bottom corner. It's a Yellow Page ad, but the photo of the owner guaranteeing their service and their company stood out. And we get people that would double and triple the number of calls they got from the Yellow Pages just by updating the ad with these types of principles. So it works on the web as well. Use video multimedia elements as well. So your website should have a video welcome of some sort. That's ideal if you're doing it absolutely to the to the nines on this one. If you've got the owner of the business or a key spokesman in the business greeting people, welcoming them to the website, welcoming them to the business, to have them check things around, that just changes the whole look and feel of your company in their minds. That just feels different than everybody else they're looking at as well. If each one of your service pages has a little video about that service and why you guys are different, again, from the owner, the spokesperson for the website, that has a huge appeal as well. Some people are visual and like the videos. Some people are readers. There's different ways that people engage with content and with businesses. So you want to be able to be in front of all of them. And we're in a world now where video can be consumed very, very easily as well. You want to leverage social proof. So you want to showcase your online reviews prominently on your homepage, on your service pages, on your booking page, on your project galleries, anywhere that you're sharing before and afters, things like that. You want to be sharing testimonials, feedback, and online reviews that are recent. We know they're going to, if they look at them on your website, they're going to go online and search to make sure it's congruent when they look at Facebook and when they look at Google and things like that. They're good. We know that they're going to do that. So you want to make sure that you're using real and authentic and recent feedback and reviews all over your website as well. For each product, each page, each service, helps even more. Project galleries are really, really cool because they have a multiple effects. You can have, like, say, for example, you did a really, really amazing tile and grout cleaning job 2 cities over. So you're not the city that you have your actual Google My Business address in, and always harder to rank in those cities, always harder to get your word out. You take those pictures on your phone, for example, now they're geotagged to where you were standing when you took the pictures, which is the customer's house in that town. Those go up as a page on your website as a before and after. Get the customer to provide feedback through a feedback survey of some sort, and testimonial. Online reviews even, is great as well, but the feedback really helps there. A video one if you can get them. But if you've got all of that information and a little story behind, a paragraph or two, why the customer needed you, what you were brought into, what you came across, why it was, terrible, and how it solved it, how you were able to solve it with your services. You've now got a page about a city, about a service with a customer's testimonial, and all of that can be shared out as ads on Facebook. That can be shared out everywhere. But you've now created, when people land on that page, they just feel so much better about you, and that's social proof all over the place. It's just amazing. So it's a really cool strategy. Kind of a little off topic here, a little bit, but it's something that every website should have, is start to do project gallery pages one by one, not just like a gallery of 10 or 20 different before and afters, but one by one tell a story. We all love stories. So you want to get the basics in order. You want to have the phone number, upper right corner. All stats have shown that that's the place that the best people's eyes gravitate to look for contact information. If you've ever used any of those heat mapping and stuff like that to see where people are clicking on your website or anything, it's the upper right corners where they're automatically looking for numbers. So that's where it wants to be. You want to ensure that there's a web form for customers to fill out, and you want to have any credibility symbols. So Better Business Bureau may not hold as much credibility as it used to, but anything like Angie's List, awards you've won, best of the webs and things like that, anything that you've won, charities you've been involved with, all of those credibility symbols all help as well. You want to have clear call to action on each page that speaks to your customer avatar, and tell them exactly what to do next. I see this bit missed by a lot of businesses. You might have it on the homepage, maybe, but you go to some of the other pages, they go in to check out your upholstery cleaning page, your pet urine removal page, anything like that, and they're getting some information. Maybe you've even got it right and you got a video on there showing the work being done or something like that, and they scroll to the bottom, that's the end of the page. And it just in basic marketing 101, tell people what to do next. Hey, if that's all good, click here and chat with us. Click here, give us a call, whatever. Make it very, very clear what you want them to do. Have the calls to action. Use special offers. And I know there's a debate over, like, we're not talking about discounting. Some businesses like to be the discount. A lot of businesses like to be the premium offering, but we do know that clients like to have some sort of an offer. So if it's an area rug cleaning page, and this is the first time they've, for first time customers, get, $25 off if you want to do it that way, or get free protection when you get, on 3 or more rugs, things like that. There's ways you can make it a freemium or whatever. So it's a premium on the offer. So it's free to them if they've done something else. So there's ways to structure offers that just help that little bit more, get a little bit higher conversion. You know what? While I'm here, let me hit these guys up because that seems like a decent deal. Make sure that your website is mobilely optimized, and not just that it shrinks down and looks good on a phone. Mobilely optimized is actually a little bit different. You want elements to change. You don't want the website to necessarily be the exact same thing on mobile. If you've got a nice long page telling a lot of information, you may not want that page to be a big long scroll on the phone. If you do have a scroll-worthy pages, you want them to look like Facebook or Instagram. We know how to scroll nowadays. We know what we want to see. It's got to have that look and feel that we're used to. It's got to look like TikTok and things like that. So if having your website designed that when it's in a mobile, every phone number you click on it and automatically is ready to click to call is really important. And having the scroll thought about what you want them to see, how easy do you want them to digest the content, and how far do you really need them to go down the content from a mobile device. You want to leverage live chat. This is just killer nowadays. You need to have a way to have live chat, and what we actually suggest is chat to text. It might even be better. Our stats are showing that might even be better. You don't necessarily have to have a manned service waiting there to be a 24/7 chat. But if you give somebody the ability to chat, nowadays we're finding 35% of leads are wanting to text and chat versus pick up the phone and call. We all want people to pick up the phone and call. We know that if our scripts are good, our CSRs are good, we're good at converting. We want to talk to them on the phone, and that's really hard to get through chat. The average person wants to have more and more people, the millennial crowd and stuff, they just want to be able to text back and forth with somebody. So a chat to text takes them off your website onto their cell phone, so they don't have to sit there and wait for a response. They can go about their day and you can get back to them on text. So that's why the chat to text is actually becoming even more popular than just sort of like a website chat and that kind of thing. And speed matters as well. Your website needs to load really, really quickly. There's an SEO principle to that, but more so if you think about it, a customer who's waiting for your page to load, there's a really good chance that they're just going to bounce off as well. So speed is really, really important. And marketing automation is becoming a game changer between companies. So automation is just, there's things from chatbots where they can get some basic information, be redirected on the site through bots. That's one way of automating. Another way of automating is if somebody fills out a form, if somebody starts to chat with you, they go to your scheduled service page and they fill out their information. The automation is that they instantly get a message right back to them. Maybe they even get a phone call or a voice message. And a lot of good automations, it's their phone will ring because they filled out a form. And then if they pick it up, the office phone rings and the office can connect to that person and talk right away. And if they don't pick it up, then a voicemail's left. So really cool automations that get you, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but get the customer into your world right away, because we know that time is of the essence in all of this stuff. So that's important as well, to make sure that you've got some of that kicking around. So what is the one element that will have the biggest impact on the results of your internet marketing efforts as we go through this? And what I hope I've just kind of proven is optimizing your website will generate more leads, calls, bookings, that kind of thing, because you're giving the information that the person wants to consume. So is your website set up to convert visitors into callers? So there's some elements I'll pop off here and kind of look at a few websites on the internet in a second as well. Some of you sent in your websites. Thank you. But, does it have some of those principles that we're talking about? Here's an example, like just this website is actually converting at a 35% conversion rate. Here's another website that we've got that all the different channels in our analytics, 32% conversion rate. So we're saying 5 to 15% is the average, and we're liking to actually see closer to those 30% numbers. So some of the elements here's an example of some of the elements that help in this regard. And so we've got phone numbers, we've got social proof. This is just all above the fold as well. Somebody comes here. The only thing about this website that needs changed is better main image here. Lots of images of the business and the customer there, but on this one in the background, this was to match a theme at the time, but it is one of the things that needs to be switched up. But even that, because they do have videos and stuff like that, 38% conversion rates and those kinds of things. So basically, how do you get your website to convert like that? What are some of the things that you need to be thinking about? So we're looking at this is in that workbook that we've got as well, and this is actually available as a download as a full PDF. But this is the ultimate carpet cleaner website conversion machine, we call it. So we're talking about this covers everything from the conversions, the findability. So you need keywords in the right places to have it found by Google, found by the search engines. Then you need to make sure that there's some of those elements like your name, address, and phone number shows up on the website and is exactly what Google wants to see. So they help rank you in the maps listings. We like to use WordPress. There's a couple other building platforms out there as well, but WordPress gives us the most flexibility to create, have, the speed, have the plugins, have all of that kind of stuff to really, really make it an interactive website, have all the elements you want, change things up, keep it modern, those kinds of things as well. You want to have the engagement elements. So a very clear, unique selling proposition. So if you don't know what that is, it's actually the very first step in the digital domination method is the USP, unique sales proposition. So why you over everybody else? How can you explain that to the customer on your website? Is it a guarantee of service? Is it years in business? Is it like, what is it that is different about you and the way you do your work over everybody else? And can you say that in a compelling way, in a sentence or less, like Domino's does with, that 30 minutes or it's free, things like that. Like there's lots and lots of examples of what a USP is. You've got to figure out what yours is and why you stand out over your competitors, because you need to tell your customers that, or they're not going to have a clear idea either. You need to have good, easy navigation so that they know how to get around your website, and that's got to be nice and clear. We like to make a sticky header so that when they move down the page, the header stays up there. You want to have those trust icons. You want to have all your messaging talking to the avatar and that kind of thing. You want to have make sure that you've got your phone number up in the top near the right. You want to have clear calls to action all the way down the page. If they scroll more than once or twice and there isn't another chance for them to fill out a form, click a button to call you, you don't have enough calls to action on the page as well. You want to have that live chat or that chat to text. You want to have streaming reviews of some sort. You don't want to just have those boilerplate ones that are 20 years old. You want to have up-to-date, recent plugins and tools where they're grabbing them live off the internet really, really help as well. Real photos of you and the team. And then you want to have a lot of the techie stuff figured out. So that's what just a overview wireframe snapshot of what a good laid out website is all about. And when we're talking about the messaging, one of the best ways to think of it here is, this is a phrase that I heard years and years ago in business school, is like, if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. And basically what that is if you can get into the mind of your consumer, your ideal customer avatar that we talked about, if you can get into their head, figure out what it is that they want, why they're picking the person they're picking, the company. So if your ideal avatar is a cheap person who only likes a discount and a deal, then that's what to do. Your websites are all about that, and you know that next time they're just going to find the next discount and deal. They're not necessarily going to be your lifetime customer. And if that's your business model and it works for you, then yeah, you know exactly what to do on your website. But if your business model is, I want the discerning consumer who's going to use me for years and years and years, tell all their friends about it, and I'm their guy. I answer their problems, I solve their concerns. I'm the one that they just want 20 years from now, they're still calling us. Then what do they want when they find that person, their mechanic that they always use, their, the dentist they haven't left since they were a kid? What is it that gets into their head that allows them to make those decisions? If you can figure that out by going through your customer avatar and spending an hour or two and just thinking of your ideal client and what bothers them, what pains them, and then schedule or put all your messaging on your website around that. That is really, really, really valuable time well spent, not only for your marketing outside of your website, but for how you build your website as well. But that's gonna serve you when you're where to place your ads, what budgets you're going to put behind different paid ad platforms, Facebooks and Google and things like that as well. So a couple of things. We won't go too terribly deep into the customer avatar, but here's a couple of things to think of, like in the carpet cleaning space, home service space. We know that they're a homeowner. We know that the people that our ideal client is usually between 35 and 55. They're established a bit more. They're maintaining their stuff. They've got a busy lifestyle, so they're not, things aren't being maintained naturally longer, things like that. So they have a lot on the go, and they just want to pay to get things solved. Typically, female are the ones who book the calls for things around the home, for carpet cleaning and cleaning services and things like that. Males might take over some of the mechanical services more so potentially, but married with 2 or 3 kids, the woman is typically the head of the household in that regard. The annual household income is at least 65,000. That's probably higher, depending on your marketplace. There's some households where it's 100,000 or more would be the ideal demographic, or starting point. Family oriented, reliable. Most of them are pet owners. About 75% of clients are pet owners, so you know who to target. You know what to target. If you're a member of a kennel club personally, if you have your own breed dogs, tell everybody about that on your website. They take pride in their home and their home decor, so that's a very strong point. They like to help others and expect the same. They like gardening, crafting, arts, and entertainment. That just seems to be an average demographic after researching all of the types of people that have booked these types of services. Typically live in the suburbs, upper middle class, and they take an interest in their community. Pains and frustrations around our industry. They can't get a carpet cleaning company on the phone. And that, we all know it. Pick up the phone and start calling around your competitors and see how many actually answer the phone. They need to get some carpet, furniture, tile floors, area rugs, hardwood floors, whatever services you provide. They're in need of that. That's obviously a pain or frustration. Maybe their house is not smelling fresh, especially with everybody working from home these days. They're really starting to notice the funk in their home that they can kind of get away with over the weekends and stuff like that. So, think of the pains and frustrations that you're solving. They're too busy to deal with it. They're worried about having that, that the situation that the house could become unhealthy for their family. So they have a health mind input. We've been talking about how healthy carpet cleaning is for decades now. There are consumers that get that message, and they're not the ones that want the cheap discount guy then, because health becomes a concern, and you can really focus in on that in your messaging on your website, and that as well, if that is one of the pains and frustrations of your consumer class that you've noted. And they're concerned who to work with. They're concerned that the person coming into their home is going to, may not be reliable and trustworthy. So their goals and desires: get their carpets cleaned, have the issue put behind them, having a well-kept home, taking care of their family. They want more income, money, and wealth in their life. These are just goals and desires outside of just the services we provide. They want to live in a nicer, more luxurious home, drive a nicer car. They want to make sure their family's healthy. They spend more time with their family, get respect and approval from friends and family, and have peace of mind. So they don't want to be ripped off or overcharged. So you got to speak to that. They don't want to pay too much for something they could have gotten elsewhere for less. So you got to make sure that if you're explaining why your prices are higher, you can explain that in a way that they understand that it's not just a commodity and they're getting it from somewhere else less. They want to make sure that the home won't be damaged by faulty workmanship, so that you're insured, you're bonded. Have customers even speak to that in testimonials. Hey, that there's a little bit of a mishap, they solved it right away. And I'm so happy. A lot of other people would have not dealt with it that way. Things like that. They want to not have to wait around for the carpet cleaner to arrive at the home. So you can talk about your appointment times. You can talk about those kinds of things. They want to make sure that they're you're not going to be inconvenienced trying to coordinate the cleaning. So it's not this telephone tag. It's not, and that's another testament to the fact that people really like to do these text messages and that kind of thing. And you don't want to be causing a disaster in the home and creating a whole, turn things upside down. All the furniture has to be left out of the rooms for the next couple of days, things like that. And they want to make sure they're able to afford it. So your website needs to talk to all of that kind of stuff. So So some of the messaging that works in our space: safe, eco-friendly, natural, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, or it's free. That's very weak, but that's the type of call to action that you need to say is, hey, if you're not happy with this, we're going to re-clean it. If you're still not happy, you don't pay us. Or we're going to actually, if you find somebody who can get it cleaner, we'll pay their bill to do that for you. Things like that. Those types of guarantees really help convert people from, meh, this guy seems like everybody else, to, wow, this business owner really stands behind his work. You want to know that they want to know that technicians are highly trained and trustworthy. So seeing the technicians, hearing from the technicians on the website, things like that are really, really helpful as well. That the phones are answered live, messages are going to be gone back, and that you've got honest pricing of some sort. That's the messages that work in our industry really, really well. So I'm going to show you here, but let me switch to a few websites to give you some examples live of what this kind of can look like. So here's an example, one of our client websites, but if you've noticed already, we go on it, there's your social proof right there popping up in the bottom corner, and that rotates. We've got the phone number up here. You start scrolling, everything stays up there. We've got their call to action right there, eco-friendly products, industry leading equipment, all of those kinds of things right there. This form here automatically, as soon as somebody fills it out, they can talk about what services they're looking to get done. And as soon as it fills it out, there's a phone call goes to the office and says, this person just filled out a form, press 1 to connect with them right now. And again, if they can't, if the person's not willing to connect, the person gets a text and a voice message dropped on them anyways. And there's the click to chat right there, fill that out, and it's right to a text message. And we'll talk a little bit about these automations in a minute. We've got COVID messaging up at the top. It used to be front and center as a pop-up, but now that we're sort of moving on from that, at least the people that want to know, here's the whole COVID message. Scroll down, and these are all personal pictures. We got pictures of the owner telling exactly why to choose him. We've got videos playing here as well with reviews and spokesmodels and all of that kind of stuff. Live reviews streaming with more reviews on the full local review page and feedback. Again, actual job being done by technicians right on this page and on every page as well. And there's more about the team and the company. So if you can see an example, like, and everywhere you go, call to action, scroll down, call to action, because we scrolled down a little bit. Everywhere you go, there's a call to action moving down the page. Even though it's still up here, it's all moving down the page as well. So examples like that, and we go back to the presentation, some of the things on the page include, the difference between clean carpet and healthy carpet speaks to that message right away. 8 reasons why you'll love the company, exact appointment times and what that means. We give you arrival windows, not, hey, sometime today. All of these messages are filtered throughout the website in different lists, different areas, speaking directly to the clientele that they want to attract. So really, really important to have those types of elements on your website, not just on the landing pages, but also on the interior pages as well. So again, you want to be authentic, what your business is all about. One of the other things I'll actually show you, I'll flip back over to it, is you want to have an about page that tells your story. So a lot of times what we do is we get our clients to actually just record. Why did you get into the industry? What do you like about it? All that, just record it and have it explained on the website. If they don't want to do a video on it, have it explained on the website. What started this? Like, for example, Gary here, the business was started by his father, and back in 1958, and on and on and on, and just talks about the whole story and that kind of thing. And those types of pages get consumed really, really well, and they can be actually used in your social media marketing and everything else like that. Hey, do you want to know a little bit more about us? They can be used in your email follow-up marketing. Hey, do you want to know a little bit more about our business? Here's a little bit of snippet. If you want the full story, click here and take people to your about page and things like that. So they can be used in part of your warming and nurturing sequences as well. Having videos on the website, if you're taking videos right on the job with customers, customer testimonials, before and afters. Again, I prefer the project pages, but having these videos throughout the website of here's what it looks like when we're in your home. We're in your home doing the job. Here's what it looks like when we're performing this service for you. That kind of idea. We talked about the streaming reviews, having some sort of tool that allows you to have the most recent reviews and have feedback, have your clients leave feedback, not just online reviews, but actual testimonial feedback. It's only about 10 or 15% of the population that writes reviews right now. But 75, 85% of people, given a reason why, will fill out a survey, a short survey explaining why they chose you, why they like you. Really good marketing intel, but that can also be used when you get them to explain the experience that they had in the home. That becomes a review, but that can be shared out across social media and all that as well, and put on every one of your pages of your website. So now you got somebody explaining how they had really bad stains on their upholstery, and you're able to get it out. Well, if you don't have any before and after pictures, and you can't create a project page about that, but you can put those testimonials on the upholstery cleaning page. So copy and paste them onto now you're speaking about upholstery cleaning specifically on the upholstery cleaning page with actual customers. So bunch of the elements: phone number. You want to make sure you have that unique sales proposition front and center, why you over everybody else. You want social proof. If all of this can be above the fold, as they say, before you have to scroll, that's even better. You want to give them multiple ways to get a hold of you. So we've got the phone, we've got the form, and we've got the chat, all above the fold, waiting to collect and get that conversion. So we've got, you're going to want some offers of some sort. So if you've got offers on the very specific pages, you've got, a web specials type page, things like that, that convert some of these people that have just come into your website new, and you've just converted them into, into potential, like at least a lead, a phone call that you can now work your magic on. Your CSRs can work your magic on and turn them into customers. And you want to make sure that it's mobile friendly. We talked about that as in the list of stuff, but I'm going to show you what that means. So you want to make sure that this website, if you can see here, it looks more like an app now. When it's sized down, things change, things move. The phone number is very prominent. Click to make an appointment, click to call. It's very simple. We know that, upwards north of 60% of the people that land on your website are going to come onto it at first from a mobile device. They may bookmark it. They may look at it on a desktop if there's something they want to see, especially those project pages and things like that. But they're going to come and make a decision. If they're going to click, they're going to click to call, and they just need to get that feeling right away, and it needs to be nice and easy. So you want to make sure that the site loads quickly, that it's got those very, very simple elements to allow them to interact with your site really well. So when they click on a phone number, big click to call, boom, it pops up, and they're ready to call. And we want to make sure, again, we talked about the live chat, but you want to, only 5 to 15 or 10% of visitors on your website take action right now. So that's a call or a web form. And we're trying to get that conversion rate way up. 90% of your visitors leave without calling. We know that chat and text has become so important that you want to make sure that you have that handled really, really well. In fact, if you guys have, like anybody on the call here, if you've already got a chat to text or a chat widget that is being monitored, being used, that people are on top of in your company already, put a 1 in the chat. Just give me I want to see an idea of sort of how many people on the call here have kind of got this part figured out already. So cool. So we got a couple ones coming in. Anybody else? We're finding that it's starting to play its way into this into the mix here, but definitely something that you can differentiate yourself from your competitors just by putting that piece in place, and the conversion of that is insane. So you want to, and it's only going to get more and more important. So if you can get people to go right through the whole booking process by chat, even some people just don't want the phone call. So you might start the chat and say, hey, is it okay if I give you a quick call? Your CSR might do that. And if they say, no, I'm not available right now, okay, no problem, next. And you can have some of those canned responses just waiting. So it's not like you have to type it all out, copy paste, put it in, or have it as little templates. When they ask about this, you can at least get the next little bit out quickly. Make it as quick as possible, but get them right in, find the time in the schedule and book them in. And the number of people that will appreciate that. And if they have to pause, they're doing it at work, and then the next thing they have to go into a meeting and they don't get back to you right away, that's entirely because it's chat to text on their cell phone. That's normal. We talk to our friends and family, and then sometimes, be right back, and then a while later. Well, if that's an active two-way chat going on by text, then it's okay for them to go silent for a little bit and then come back to you. And or you can pick it up the next day and say, hey, just checking to see if we can complete this booking or something like that. So just keep an eye on that as well. And so yeah, so we see that it actually, we're finding that it's increasing the number of leads on a website by as much as 35%, just having that chat. So we got real authentic images, video elements on the website, showcase your online reviews and feedback. Get the basics right. The phone number, ensure that the web form the customers can fill out that are actionable. You want authority symbols. You want calls to action are updated throughout the site and specific to each page. You want to make sure that at the bottom of any page, you're telling them what to do next. You want to leverage offers where appropriate. You want two-way chat, and you want to use that automation as much as you possibly can in your marketing to make everything start to really, really, really make sense. So we had a few of you. A few of you chimed in with your websites. I don't have a chance to get to like a ton of them, but let's take a look first, because I think that would be helpful as well, to see what, just do a couple of deep dives here. So we had this one here from a while ago, but we're going to take a look at this. So fairly prominent business, but this is an example of websites that we'll walk into a lot when somebody asks us to diagnose their website and they just haven't updated in years. It's on an old platform. It loaded quick. I like that. The phone number, as we can tell, not big and prominent. We got a logo here, but we don't really have a reason why to call them. Just generic photography, a couple of pages through the website, but not a lot of information. These images aren't clickable. We're all used to clicking on things nowadays. There's no buttons in clickable. So don't want to beat you guys up too much, but this website here doesn't tell me really anything at all about the company, why I should pick you over the competitors. There's not a lot of conversion. This website would convert. I'd be surprised if it converts at the 5% even. It really doesn't feel well or fit well. And if I kind of try and let's see if I can make it smaller and see if it's mobilely responsive. It's not even mobilely responsive, so it won't look good on a cell phone as well. So that's an example of sort of an older site that is just not going to serve you well. And with a bunch of those changes that we just talked about, that site would be great. Here's a better one. This one's got a phone number up here. I would like to see it larger. It's trying to use the whole space, but running the content right down the middle. So we got a little bit of before and after, but it's not really explaining why. We don't have a web form at the top, so that would be something. We obviously don't have chat. We don't have any social proof up here yet at all. We don't know anything about the company. We've got generic photos, so nothing about the company. It doesn't speak authenticity, doesn't explain why them. We've got this little, we are section, but if it's the business owner explaining, hey, here's who I am, here's why you should choose me. Let me see if any of their pictures have actually, their scroll's a little wonky as well. So we got a little bit of broken tech. Before and after, I get it, but no, who's the company? Who's going to show up? What do your trucks look like? What do your equipment look like? All of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that would be a little bit of take if you're getting some information out of this that from your own website. If you look at yours, there's a lot of SEO elements that would be in the background, but just on a straight, hey, I just landed on this website because I went to a pay-per-click ad and I got here. I saw it organically. Somebody referred me on Facebook. Hey, who should I choose as a carpet cleaner? I'd suggest you use Deep Clean. Oh, you got their phone number? No, here's their website, or no, just check them out, whatever. People will Google and end up on here. And nothing about this tells me to choose this company. Just so there's lots of things that can be tweaked around. Let's take a look at another one. So we'll kind of let's do one more. So All-Star, we know Merrick, and know this website quite well, actually. So Rima handed me this one and said this was somebody who'd sent it over. So we'll talk a little bit about it. But yeah, so first off, right off the bat, it doesn't come through as secure automatically. Let me see if I can make it secure. So secure just means that no, and we can't. So the website, the hosting needs to upgrade so that it's actually considered a secure website. Like if you see here, all locked and secure, and some browsers just kick up a warning like the one I showed you here. If the security isn't put in place. That was sort of a protocol that the internet put in, that mandated about 2 years ago now as mandatory, that, or they're going to start sort of diminishing the effectiveness of the website, and possibly even affect the SEO and the ranking, but more so the visitor experience. So we do have the phone number up here, which is good. But again, we got the baby lying on the carpet. I know this is a franchise, so that's common, but it makes way more sense that you, as the owner of the franchise, talk about why you bought the franchise, why they should choose your franchise in your market area and things like that, and your service. We've got a COVID message, which is great. We've got an offer. So these people are doing there. And we've got a little bit of social proof from Homestars and other reviews. We got a broken video, something worth looking at. So all in all, like, there's no conversion elements as I'm moving down. There's no click to call. I don't have a phone number here. I don't have anything, again, no chat going on. We've got the form fill here, but way down there, that's, obviously better up at the top. We got the request the free quote and buttons for people to click on, but it's just not as easy and not as intuitive for the different ways for people that want to sort of consume a website. So if that's a little bit helpful, there's some ideas there, but that checklist that you, or the workbook that you downloaded, will have a lot of these points that you can dig through, take a look at your own website, tick off the things that do and don't quite fit well, and go from there. So your website needs to be set to convert. We know that that's the focus. And just as we wrap up here, which of the following should you implement in your business now that will have the biggest impact? What I suggest you do is pick 3. So I didn't give you this page in the workbook, but you can just type it down or check off on the checklist on page 3 or whatever that is. There's little check boxes if you've made a copy and you own it on your own. Which 3 that you think are absolutely important that you work on your website right now? Write those down, mark those down, because even just getting that right, and you'll increase your conversions. We'll see them by as much as 30 to 50% just by getting a couple of the missing pieces right. Put them all in place, and you're going to see those 2 to 3 times, conversion enhancements, depending on where your site currently is compared to where it needs to be. So that's your homework from this training. But one of the biggest marketing issues faced by carpet cleaning businesses, and all businesses in general actually, is unconverted leads. So I'd kind of be a little remiss if I didn't spend a minute to talk about this, because the problem is 50 to 60% of inbound leave unconverted. If you're like that, that's the person who's already filled out a form. So they filled out a form on your website. And 90% of typical web forms fail. We see this on the back end. If you're really good at answering every single email that comes in a timely manner, then good on you. What we find is that there's just a lot of fall between the cracks that happens. And you have a very short window. So knowing if your team is responding well and all that is a very key business metric as the owner, but finding a way to automate that a little bit more really help, because leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes can go cold. They might be messaging you and a bunch of the other competitors. If you've ever got the message back, nope, I've already got a reply from somebody else, then you know what I'm talking about as well. So, and the average customer who isn't just in a panic to do it right now actually needs to be followed up with 5 to 7 times before they're booking. There's a back and forth that happens. And even if it's on the phone and they go, well, let me talk to my family, let me talk to my wife, my husband, whatever, and I'll get back to you. There's always a bit of a back and forth that happens. And it happens more so in the text and form fill world. We all want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. They don't all want to talk to us. So what's happening with these unconverted leads? And today's consumers prefer to talk by text message. So here's the solution. You want to leverage that automation that we talked about to follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes of submission with a phone call, an email, and a text. So it's not overkill to do all 3, but you want to make sure that, they filled out a form, they're hot, they're thinking about it. They get a text message or a phone call right away. If they can't take the message or take the phone call, they've got a voicemail left, they got the text message they can respond to, and they've got an email that they can go back to, and it's all automatic. And you want to make sure that you automatically follow up with these prospects. So if they didn't get back to you, if they don't respond to that, does your automation know that they didn't respond to that? Do you have like somebody managing that? So, manually if you don't have automation, so that you know that you've got a sequence of 5 touches. You maybe got a second follow-up call. You've got a message from the owner. Hey, it's John here, the owner of the company. Just want to make sure that my team has been able to solve your problems. Things like that. If not, just reply back to this text and let me know. Same thing with an email. You want to have that two-way communication so that the customer feels the difference in this. And part of the emails could even be that story that we talked about. Hey, thanks so much for reaching out to us on our website. One of our team members is going to get back to you as soon as we possibly can. If there's any more information you want to provide, just reply to this email right now. And in the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about our company. Boom, you've got the license for a couple sentences. They're not going to spend a long time on it, but if you want to learn more, click here to learn more about our company and why we're different, and they can get back into the website. But and then a day or two later, send another message. Hey, hopefully my team's been able to solve your problems. But in the meantime, I just want to give you a little bit more information about us and our company. And you can start doing this little bit of a drip. Your automation should know if your teams talk to them or not, but if it doesn't, you can still have a sequence in place that just warms and nurtures them. Even if they ended up going with somebody else, until they unsubscribe, you can have that little warming sequence over the first week after they entered your funnel, and then maybe once or twice a month after that with helpful information, a newsletter, things like that. But automation is really, really, really key. So simple math on automation goes like this. If you have 100 leads and your conversion rate's 30%, on those leads. So you actually got live leads. They've come in and you're converting about 30% of them into jobs. And that's 30 bookings. And the average ticket, $325 again, you've made $9,750 from those 30 jobs that came in from those 100 forms that got filled out. If we can take and put an automation in place where we can up your conversion rate so they don't go to the competitor, they don't drop off, everybody is in a funnel somewhere, everybody's looped around, and the whole entire company knows who's talking to who and when they've actually moved off of automation into a live conversation, all of that kind of stuff. And you're now able to book 70% of those people that were interested enough in you to reach out to you by phone, by text message, by email, by form fill. You've got all of that automated, and you can up that conversion rate to 70%, which we see across the board really easily. Here's another place where you now have another chance to up your numbers. So if you think about it this way, we've upped the number of people that are going to even become a conversion, become a lead by upping your website. Now we've now upped that again by having an automation in place so when they do have that input that information and become a lead of your company, you're warming and nurturing and teaching them why you over everybody else. And you've now locked it in. That's called a multiplier. That's not just we went from 5 to 15% or 15 to 30% of people that land on your website become a lead in the first place. And then we've just upped it here from 30 to 70, so 40%, you'd add those together. No, this is a multiplier. So we've over doubled the number of conversions here. So if the leads are already have gone up by, a factor of, 2 or 3 times from 5% to 15%, and then the conversions have gone up by a factor of 2, we're now multiples. We're now 6, 7, 8, 10 times more profitable in our company. Our company's just grown, and all we've done is made a better website and made better lead conversion automation. So without even running more ads, we've just made more money. So that's the reason why this is such a hot topic to do. So in the carpet cleaning space, we call this Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro. We've actually built an entire tool around this that plugs into any website, any service, where we do all of this, where we become your lead automation. So whether they messaged you through Google My Business chat, whether they message you through Facebook, whether they message you through your website, whether they filled out a form, whether they, you've got a whole hub where that whole lead conversion is happening for you, and then you can jump in at any time and carry it on personally, and off you go. So we call that Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro, and it makes every lead you generate way more valuable. So, if you need to implement something like that in your business, we need to make sure that whether it's us or anybody else, whether you're great with automations, whether you've got some tools that work for you, you need to make sure that you've got all the pieces put together. In fact, to show you, I'm just going to pop this up on the screen here. Let's see if that can get you to that. So if that shows for you, this is an example of sort of Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro. Inbound phone calls can actually be captured by this. And so if the phone doesn't get answered by the company during regular business hours, there's an automation that happens that immediately puts them into a funnel and all of that kind of stuff. So it's not just about hitting an answering machine, but there's actually stuff that can happen. More importantly, the website chat and the form fills go through entire sequencing of if this happens, then this, and have it all built out into multi-message systems that all interact with each other and are all automated. And then even right down to sort of like Facebook and Google, all that kind of stuff can all be integrated into a whole messaging funnel. So it all happens in one dashboard. So just want to give you an idea of what that kind of looks like. So here's where we're at. We went through all of this stuff. You know that your website needs optimized for all of these things. It's in your workbook. The things that you need to be thinking about and going through and all that kind of stuff. So definitely take some time, if you've got it the rest of this afternoon or a little bit, to put down your top 3 action items that you want to see implement on your website to help this move that needle and make more money from the current traffic you already have. That is one of those big levers. Again, small hinges swing big doors, or you can think of it as a lever. You make those changes once and they feed you and your family for years and years to come. So this is very, very valuable work for business owners to do. If you need any help with this at all, by all means, that's what we do. That's what we can help with. We can just have a conversation. If you want to, you can just, if you're not a client of ours yet, or you've never had a conversation, again, Rima's monitoring the chat. You can just put "Let's talk" in the chat and give her your phone number, your email. She can reach out to you, go back and forth, and set up a time, have a quick conversation with you, and just just a little fireside chat with Rima to see how things are going. And if you need a full strategy session, I have no problem hopping on and having the team doing a full diagnostic of your website. And if you want to do that, you can just go to carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com/schedule. That puts you right into my schedule. And I carve out a couple of certain times of the week where I'll spend an hour. Our team has already spent maybe an hour doing research on your company and your competitors. And we just spent an hour going through ways to help improve your business, your goals, any shortcomings, any things that you're concerned about, things that are working well, and how to pull it all together into a cohesive plan. There's some of those elements we can help you with if you need our help. Otherwise, we part friends, stay in touch. You jump on these webinars and stuff like that, and you just keep learning from us and what we do. And if there's ever a moment we can help, then great. But I do those complimentary strategy sessions. And again, being a consultant in the marketing industry, I have a pretty hefty hourly fee just to consult one-on-one. I make a few of those available every single week to jump on my calendar and go through all of this kind of stuff because I just like talking to you guys. I like seeing things that are working, things that aren't working. And yeah, a couple of things that we would cover on that call would be, we're going to analyze your online visibility, going to do a full keyword research for you, ranking reports, analyze your online directory and consistencies, online reviews and reputation, your social presence, everything. Like, our team is just going to go deep, deep, deep. It's the work we typically do when we take on a new client. We spend a good while researching everything that we need to figure out, fix, and improve. But here we do that, ahead of time and for free for a consult for anybody who just needs any of that help. So if you've got anything from this training here today, thinking of your business in a cohesive plan, a digital dominance method, as we talk about, your website becomes the hub of all of that. Your authority management, your visibility, your brand definers, your personalization and risk reversal guarantees, and all of that is all part of your entire marketing mix, but it all anchors. And the highest conversion rates you can get is by anchoring that all on your website. So that's all I've got. If you guys find value out of this, by all means, put 10 in the chat if you found that this was important and and valuable to you. And there we go. Thank you so much, guys. And if you need to reach out to us, great. Download the workbook. If you just want to send us a message and tell us what you thought of the webinar, what other webinars or other training that you would like to see come your way, let me know. We're going to be trying to do more regular training calls coming up here. So so we're just going to keep helping you do more, do better, and convert higher in all of your marketing. So if you want to talk to us, either put a message in the chat for Rima there, and she'll get back to you directly, or to get onto my schedule, carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com/schedule. And that's everything. We're going to call it a wrap for today, but hopefully you guys found this valuable. Carry on with your day. Make sure you deal with that workbook and check off the things. And if you have any questions at all, hit us up. We're here to help any way we can. So just before I go, I will. Bye, guys. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. And take care and enjoy the rest of your day.